What's going on, Wolfpack Nation? Welcome to our first Tuffy Talk live show of 2024. We are rocking and rolling. It is officially the Julius Hodge / TJ Warren / man, who else has there been? Those been
Tom Gugliotta.
Who?
Googs.
Who? Oh, Googs. Oh, yeah. Okay, sorry. I mean, you must have froze there for a second. All I heard was Uliata. I was like, yeah. So anyway, but anyway, thank you all so much for joining again here with us. Really do appreciate it, and again, excited to have everybody here. I already got some of our normals, Nicholas, Andy, in-game, Colby. Appreciate y'all tuning in. And again, we'll kind of get to some of these comments here, but I'll be the first to say that for this live show, we're actually doing something a little different, where we do not have any tweets of the week. We don't have any mailbag. We're just keeping it just 4x4 the whole time. Old school, just simple. And we're just gonna be talking out here today, y'all. As again, we do have a lot to get to. But I mean, I'll be honest and say that just, man, I don't know about everybody else, but for me, the beginning of the year has been crazy. Getting back from the holidays, getting back to work. I'll be honest that my wife and I are starting a new diet to shed a couple of pounds, and so it's been craziness. But all is good though. All is good. Just trying to get settled in here. But I already got Hunter, Red Zone Prods. Appreciate y'all tuning in. But again, we got to start talking about here first is the news literally just broke. And again, we'll talk about this here first. And so I feel like that, like, we could talk about the Pop Tarts Bowl and everything else, but everybody's gonna be like, talk about Aiden. So yes, we got to talk about the news of Aiden White entering the transfer portal. And I'll be honest that literally I was actually looking up stats right before the news broke to make my case that Aiden White is in the conversation of one of the greatest cornerbacks NC State football has ever had. And then boom. I mean, again, I literally didn't even think that it was.
I was fully prepared to read the last sentence and prepare for the NFL draft. But when I looked at the draft, I was like, I don't see the NFL logo anywhere. What the hell's going on? And I read it. It's a transfer portal. And I was like, huh?
Yeah.
You're not getting benched, Aiden.
Right.
You're playing.
Well, and real quick, too, before we actually continue this, Aiden, I got to give a shout out to Whitney Hartman here, K-State fan here. Great game last week. Respect your program, coaches, and fan base. Good luck next season. Thank you, Whitney. Appreciate you. And great game. And best of luck to you and Kansas State next season. We'll be talking about that. Don't worry. But, I mean, again, it's the only thing that makes possible sense. Just like you said, Kent, it's not like, Tamarcus Cooley's going to take Aiden White's job.
Yeah.
It literally has to come down to with today's, and again, this is not insider info. This is just reading between the pages, somebody who has seen enough of this stuff that obviously Aiden White was asking for a certain amount and we couldn't meet it. That has to be the only option, because I mean, like it can't be anything else. Like, he's, again, because of course, like, there's like, it's not like we're going to limit him. If he comes back, it's not like we're taking away any of his snap share. So that can't be it. NFL, like, in terms of eyes, I mean, the Pop Tarts Bowl is one of the, biggest viewed bowl games of the whole season.
I mean, he was already, this past season, was on the watch list for the NFL. So it's like, because he already had tons of eyes on him. So
the only real two options are if he wanted to go somewhere with a little bit more exposure, which, okay, or the money didn't work out. That has to be the only two options here.
Yeah, so my limited inside information is it is not NIL related.
It's not NIL related, really?
100%.
Wow. Okay.
So
any guesses then, Greg?
I would have to think that it's schematic, something, to more showcase his talents.
Wow. Okay.
That's crazy.
Okay. See, honestly, like, I could have wrapped my head more around the NIL thing, because obviously if somebody offers you a bank, I mean, okay, I mean, I can't blame them, but schematics, like, okay. I mean, all right. So yeah. And so Cameron even asked right here, if not NIL related, this makes no sense. I'm in a complete agreement. If it's not NIL related, then schematics, that is.
I think we should all message him and be like, we promise we won't be mean. Will you just tell us why? Because now
exactly.
It's really going to confuse me until football starts. I'm going to be like, what could happen? Is it a family thing? Because he's not far from home at all.
Right.
So it's like, I'm confused.
That's a great point. Well, and that's why like my tweet was very like, I don't understand. We appreciate your time.
Right?
I don't understand, but thank you. I don't understand.
One of the comments was it was what hit me. They said seeing him announce his college on the NFL is going to be hard, not hearing NC State after it. Yeah. And I agree. Like it feels like he's been on our team forever. So the fact he's leaving last year is just it's hard.
I had people say, "Well, I thought he was actually out of eligibility. He's been here for so long."
He's been here for
he's one of those COVID guys that I think this was like year 5 that he had been here already.
Yeah. Because I remember I think it was Liberty in 2020 where I think he had an interception, and I think that was really the game.
Got his coming out party.
That was the game where the defensive back that transferred to Texas Tech. Like I think that was the game where when that guy transferred, that it was like, well, because you got Aiden White. I mean, you see that interception against Liberty. So, yeah, no, I agree. So, Michael, any additional thoughts here? How shocking.
I mean, it sucks, but at the same time, a lot of people expected him to go to the NFL. So you're kind of in the same position. It's just like he's going to be playing for another team. Hopefully it's not a team against us.
Yeah. I don't want it to be in the ACC. I want him somewhere way far away from us.
I would say a West Coast team, but that could even be ACC at this point.
Right?
Yeah, no, probably.
Conference, please.
But yeah, I mean, Red Zone says, I mean, could have been a day 2 pick this year in the drafts, which I mean, I think is 100%, within the realm. It still wasn't actually his best year. Actually, last year was actually technically grading wise a better year. But I mean, he was very consistent over 2 years, which is good. Go ahead, Greg.
Yeah, my guess is he didn't get the NFL grade that he wanted. That's why he's coming back. So even at a day 2, maybe he's gonna, maybe go the Peyton Wilson route and bet on himself and try to improve his draft stock by playing another year somewhere else. Again, just purely speculation on that, but it was just if you're a day 2 guy, you're probably going to go to the NFL and not risk injury. So he probably more than likely didn't get the grade that he was looking for.
Yeah.
I mean, I'd much rather this type of thing happen on defense than like a star offensive player leave. I mean, our defensive coaches are amazing. Tony Gibson. I mean, I feel like they're going to set up anybody to be able to handle his spot. But I mean, if we were losing like a KC or somebody, I feel like that would put a little bit of a dent in us more than it would now.
Yeah. Oh, for sure. Yeah. No. Well, now, I mean, the one question, which I mean, you kind of now have alluded to it, so definitely want to talk about it. Defensively, I mean, we have gotten a haircut on defense now. I mean, we have gotten some pieces, which is great. To Marcus Cooley, Corey Coley, which are great additions for sure. Who is my Wyatt Wright? That would be a good addition as well.
And coming back, huge.
Yep. So, but it all really just comes down to, at the end of the day, Tony Gibson is the defensive coordinator. Like, I just cannot imagine a world where, I mean, from basically here on out, that we don't have at least a very good defense going forward. Yeah. I mean, we might not have an elite defense every single year, which I mean, okay, you can live with that, but I just can't imagine. I mean, again, he's one of the best defensive coordinators in the country. He's getting paid like it now. Like, and again, he's proven he can do it. So,
I mean, you're not going to have a Peyton Wilson come through every year. So it's like you're not going to have a top tier defense every year. But I mean, we have lately. So I feel like even if it's just a little step down than what we've had, then that's still way above average in the ACC for defense.
For sure.
Well, with that being said, I think this is because we have loaded so much up on offense. I think this defense can take us half step to a full step back and probably still be okay. I don't think this is going to be a team that's going to average only 24 points a game next season. My guess would be it's probably going to jump up 4 to 5 points at a minimum. And so even if I think we averaged giving up about 20, 21 points a game, I think, when it was all said and done. So even if you bump that up to 24 points, say, if you go up 4 or 5 points, you're still ahead of the game.
Right.
Yeah.
Our defense deserves that. The way that they've had to be on the field way more than offense lately, like, I feel like next season if they would have had it switched, if Aiden would have left last year and this is when we would have needed him this year. So I think that our offense will be able to take over next year.
And I mean, it doesn't even losing Peyton Wilson in one doesn't really compare to what we lost last year. I mean, and the defense was still just as good. I mean, between Drake Thomas, Isaiah Moore, Tanner Hingle. Yeah. I mean, like,
real quick, couple comments. Christian Knops says, "Go Pack, baby."
House.
Yeah. And then Seth bringing up how Georgia cornerback and a South Carolina linebacker to shut the portal. And I more bring that up more of just to point out that, I mean, again, it's not like, I mean, we're also still going after some other defensive players in the transfer portal as well. So again, I mean, it's not like everything that we have right now is what we have. Like, we still have a couple more spots. We still are going after a couple players. So we're not done yet.
We've had a couple of scholarships open up over the last couple of days too. So you can definitely backfill. Now the focus does shift. You're now going out looking for probably a cornerback or two. There was always going to be potential to grab a defensive lineman or two. So I don't think your priorities have changed at all. They just become more of a priority at this point.
And that kind of adds to the list. Like, another one that shocked me was Colin Smith. I didn't expect him to enter the portal. So it's just, I mean, with the way we've been killing the portal, I have full faith in our coaching staff and NIL and everything. So,
and Cameron, I'm going to get your comment because we definitely need to talk about it. But we got to talk about it.
I talk about him.
But Lynn Edwards bringing up that this one stings. But Mr. Wilson is the only defensive player not replaceable. I mean, again, and I first of all, yes. I mean, Peyton Wilson is arguably one of the greatest defensive players. Definitely, in my opinion, the greatest linebacker. So yes, just like Ken was saying, you're not going to get that guy every single year, and that's okay. Like, it's just.
It's rare you get
Peyton Wilson, can be a once in a decade, linebacker. I mean, it's actually kind of crazy how we have had basically in each decade we've had a phenomenal elite defensive player. Mario Williams in 2000s, Bradley Chubb in 2010s, and now Peyton Wilson in 2020s. So meaning.
I will say, talking about Wilson being irreplaceable, you definitely saw where he was missed in that bowl game, and obviously we'll talk about it when we get to it. But that just goes to in the 3-3-5 how important that linebacker core is, and that if you don't have a good linebacker core, you will get eaten up, especially by a mobile quarterback.
Yeah, absolutely. But again, keeping in mind that at the end of the day, we only have a certain amount of resources to go around. And so at the end of the day, if we have, it's obvious this offseason we focused on offense. That is, we need to get the offense better. We need to get more horses. We need to improve it. So at the end of the day, if you're basically taking all these resources, taking offense from a C- grade, like, okay, barely, okay, to like a B+ offense, and then the defense drops from an A to a B+, like that's a solid team. Like,
still net gain.
It's still a huge net gain so far this season. Absolutely. But anyway, so Cameron did bring up, so we got to talk about it. Have I missed the pod where we talked about the Jakeem Harris transfer?
Who's that?
So. All right, Greg, do you want to say the first comment about it?
Greg's
honestly, this is the way I've looked at it. I've approached the NIL from really the first major blow that we had with Tommy White in baseball. I appreciate you when you run with the pack. If you leave the program, good luck to you. I'm not going to say anything negative. I'm 46 years old, going on 47. I'm too old for this crap to talk crap about 20-year-old kids.
Absolutely.
Good luck. He's going to get playing time. I'll leave it at that.
Yeah. Well, and again, like
that was a little small blow. I like that.
Well, and like, for example, there's that video going around from the Texas-Washington game of like that probably mid-40s, 50s-year-old guy, Texas fan, going after Washington fans, be like, "You remember me, bud?
No,
remember me."
The
players, and that's exactly it. Like with Jakeem Harris, I'm sitting here saying, I don't like it. Like this is honestly the first time where in NIL that we've had a state guy fully switch to UNC or UNC fully switch to state. Like, it's the first time that's happened. The only thing which is kind of similar is that offensive tackle that originally committed to us out of high school, but then went to Georgia, and now he transferred and went to UNC. So that's a little bit as well. But to fully have a player switch during an offseason from state or UNC to the other,
We've still taken more from them than they've taken from us.
Yeah. Oh, for sure. But at the end of the day, I mean, I'm sitting here saying it's not a huge loss. I mean, he, if I'm not mistaken, he got injured during the UConn game.
This whole season, like 3 plays.
Right. So, you know, he would have been a great depth piece for us, let's sure. But it's not.
He wasn't going to start.
He's not a superstar. Yeah, no, he's not. He's not like that guy. And again, that's not a slap. That is just.
That's why he went in the portal.
Yeah, that's right. Exactly. He wanted to be a focus guy, and UNC, he'll probably be a focus guy. So,
for the good or the bad,
it will be very, very. It will be very interesting.
It'll be great.
It'll be very interesting. No doubt, it'll be very interesting.
I just say good luck covering all of our dudes.
Right?
I mean, seriously.
Like that was very ballsy of knowing all these people he has to cover.
You know, it's 100% agree. I mean,
we'll see what
adding.
Look, yeah, I'll sum it up this way. Like, there's like all these kids, say respect the decision. Okay, I respect the decision. Doesn't mean I have to agree with it. And go be the best version of you can be wherever that might be. These players have a limited time, a limited window to showcase who they are and what they have to continue their career. And if they think this is the best path forward, then so be it. Appreciate your time, but and I don't mean this disrespectfully, but you're dead to me at this point. Like, I'm not gonna root against you.
I don't mean this disrespectfully.
Like, I don't. I mean, I will forget who you were. It's just, there's too many other people for me to put my focus towards. That's all.
Exactly. Yeah, no. You're dead to me. The Kevin O'Leary special. The Kevin O'Leary Shark Tank version of You're Dead to Me. Yes, no. Have no issues with, talking about him as a person or his family. Like, hey, listen.
Great guy.
Like taking the rivalry aside from it, I don't disagree with the move. But obviously the fact that he picked UNC to do it as
right. We're probably not even saying a word if he's going to Southwestern for the blind. Like, we're not putting any attention into this.
Yeah.
Right. Exactly. But again,
it's just a 30-minute move he's doing. It's just crazy to me.
But kind of switching over to Tracy does bring up that Devin Boykin officially signed his Savage Wolves contract, so he's going to be back, which is great. So that's that safety piece that you have, and so now you can build around some depth around Devin Boykin.
He was the one that was missed in the bowl game.
Agreed, absolutely. So, but all right. So now that we've talked about the elephant in the room with Aiden White, now that we've talked about the elephant in the room, which got reminded by Cameron.
Thanks, Cameron. We were already over it.
Right. Let's talk about the Pop Tarts Bowl, y'all. So, first and foremost, I want to say thank you to every single member of Wolfpack Nation that made the trip down to Orlando. Again, I mean, I can say from what I saw, and I know Greg will get your thoughts on it, and Ken's and Mike will get y'all's thoughts. It's kind of funny that I was doing it here in the live show, and then y'all were there in person. So I'll kind of hand the floor over to y'all, talk about how it was in person. But again, it looked like a lot of red for sure on TV. And we also had a great turnout for the watch party too. But obviously not the result we wanted. 39, 29.
No, 28-19.
28-19. Yeah, sorry. I was like, wow.
You've already moved on from it too. I get it.
I know. Yeah, I did. I did totally move on from it. I did move on from it. Yeah. But again, definitely just, disappointing loss. But the first thing I'll say, there's only one question I really have, and there's only really one thing that I would say is worth looking at, and that is Dave Doran's bowl preparation. That's the only thing I can really say in terms of that I have a real issue with, is in terms of we need to take a look at it. Is right now, for the last 4 bowl games you've gone to, Coach Doran, you've lost all 4 of them. So not to say what's going on, like you should be fired because of this. Like, no. But what I'm saying is, okay, maybe we should evaluate, like, okay, do we need to change something? Maybe a little less, fun, a little bit more preparation. Like, I don't know. Greg, first of all, give me your thoughts on the environment, and then, initial thoughts in terms kind of big picture from the bowl game.
Yeah, the bowl game itself was a lot of fun. I thought they did a nice job. They being the Pop Tarts and the Camping World and Citrus Sports Alliance, whatever they're called, putting on the bowl game. I thought that it was a very fun environment. here's the thing. If you're going to play in a non-CFP bowl game, you want to make sure that you do as much for the fan engagement, the fan environment that you can to draw and entice people into it. And I thought they were very clever in everything they did with regards to that, with the live mascot and having it pop out of a toaster. And so I thought, and I thought the day before the prep rally was really well done. Good location for it. It reminded me of the Belk Bowl back when we played Mississippi State, when they had it in the little Charlotte epicenter. I think it's called epicenter actually, now that I think about it. When they did the pep rally there. Yeah. So I thought they did some very nice things. As far as the game day environment, again, I thought they did some nice things. They advertised all these Pop Tart desserts, and they were gone before halftime, so that was a little bit of a fail there.
Didn't get any of those.
Yeah, I was kind of looking forward to trying that. I thought they did a poor job in showing replays inside the stadium.
They showed a freaking spaceship taking off before they put the game back on the thing.
Yeah, there was a rocket, I guess, that was launched from Cape Canaveral.
I was so confused.
Yeah. So anyway, all that aside, I don't know. Come back to me as far as my take on the game. We'll get everyone else's takes on the bowl itself. Yeah.
Yeah. Jens, what were your thoughts?
I loved the pep rally. I thought that it was way better than last year. I mean, Duke's Mayo Bowl had no fan preparation at all, so I feel like it was a lot of fun just being able to go straight there and just seeing a lot of Wolfpack Nation there. There were a ton of state fans there the day before, ready for it. Seeing Dave Doran come out, our entire band, like it really got you ready for the game. Even for tailgating, I think it was because of all the rain. Like Greg, we were all like in a puddle basically.
Yeah, it was a mess.
You could tell they were kind of doing like construction or stuff around Camping World. So
well, it's not the best of areas to begin with.
But I
was kind of hesitant to leave my car in the parking lot.
Yeah. But I mean, the environment was great. There were a ton of red, like there usually is. Driving down 95, I saw a ton of state flags.
Mm-hmm.
And so, like, I mean, I feel like state fans will travel anywhere to watch our team play. So that wasn't really a big issue for me, thinking that we wouldn't have fans go down there. But all I can say is the pep rally, other than the Holiday Bowl, I feel like that was the best pep rally I've been to at a bowl game. Yeah. I think, the Holiday Bowl was just like, it was basically just come and free for all, march down the street with the band. So it wasn't as set up, but
that sounds fun.
But it was just as fun. But as the game, we were definitely, I mean, shout out to Sean Brown, first of all. I mean, he definitely took that position over and did a lot of stuff that I feel like Peyton Wilson coached him up right before that game. But my question is, I feel like if Peyton was in, would we have won that game?
Well, we'll talk about that, but real quick in the comments, let me know for those who attended the game, let me know from a scale of 1 to 10 in terms of how much did you enjoy it overall, the experience overall, from a scale of 1 to 10. Let us know in the comments, and we'll touch on those. But Michael, what was your thoughts overall on the bowl game, man?
Yeah, I thought they did a good job. I mean, they clearly got a lot of eyeballs on it. I mean, it was pretty split, I thought, pretty evenly between state fans and K-State fans.
Well, that was K-State's first ever bowl game in Florida, so I think that had a lot to do with it.
Got free Pop Tarts. They came around to our section and gave some out. But
must be nice.
Yeah.
I spent $24 on a drink.
But I do want to go ahead. Yeah. Well, that's quite a ticket right there. But you know, Tracy bringing up, I thought for sure after the Penix touchdown we were going to take over. I agree. Well, because I loved it because of the fact that they did it to us, we do it to them, and we did it better than them.
Seen that in a bowl game, like I haven't seen Dave really open the playbook like that. So seeing that, I was like, okay.
He's never again. Hold on, I do gotta say this honestly is a man. Like remember where you were when this happened. The fact that Doran did not rely on his defense. He said, I'm going to be aggressive and I'm going to go for it. Like, how many times have you seen that in the recent Doran era? Even
before half, like I thought that he was definitely going to run the clock out and take it into halftime. But I mean, he did like 2 more plays after that. Yeah, he called a timeout at the wrong time. But I mean, that's still I haven't seen that from him. So I love seeing that and seeing.
Still should have scored too.
Yeah, you got to catch that. So that was a reoccurring theme most of the season, and we'll leave it at that. But
well, I gotta say real quick, Keon was saying he had 4 targets this game, no catches, 2 drops. Just saying.
That was my point, Leighton. Thank you for making it.
But again,
it was a reoccurring theme all year.
Well, and again, I'm not making opinions. That's just a fact.
Yeah.
Go ahead, Greg.
No, you're absolutely
I'll
right.
let the fact speak for itself. Go
yes,
ahead,
sir.
Greg.
Yes, sir. I thought we did do a nice, other than the fourth quarter drive where they scored. I thought we did a nice job coming out at half with some adjustments to shut some of that stuff down. I do think, to your point, we were ill prepared for a few things that they threw at us. We really didn't have an answer for Avery Johnson. He wasn't. The 2 touchdown passes were more, plays after the catch and not so much, the great throws. I thought they schemed up for us. I thought we overplayed a couple of times. But yeah, I don't know. Like the one where we got the pass interference, there was actually a delay of game that wasn't called. And if you call the delay of game, the pass interference probably doesn't happen, and that touchdown potentially doesn't happen, and who knows. But we had a lot of the same struggles that reared its head in this game. It was very much a microcosm of the season as a whole.
It reminded me a lot of the Duke game and beginning of the season. It was rewind back to all those. Yeah,
it was very much early season games. Like it reminded me of the UConn game where we just relied so much on running BA. I do know like KC had a drop or 2. But I know he was playing through some stuff in that game. He had gone out twice with what looked like injuries, so I know he was just trying to gut it out. But we got to win a bowl game at some point.
They actually didn't give him a drop on PFF for KC. But 2 things which I want to say. One, so even though you actually gave Sean Brown a kudos, which I think overall, yes, he deserved kudos. That first touchdown was actually his blown coverage, but one mistake, all good. But then, I mean, Avery Johnson, like, I think what we saw from Avery Johnson, unfortunately, screened Peyton Wilson. Like, I think that if we could have sacked him one time, that would have been a huge difference maker. It would have been.
I mean, just sacked him so many times,
but we just couldn't keep up with them. And the tackling, like again, we were not disciplined with tackling. It was just the little things, and that's why, like for me, like this bowl game really was not that we weren't prepared. It wasn't that we weren't mentally ready. It was more of just that. Again, first of all, our defense came out slow, which again, not having Peyton Wilson could have definitely made a difference there.
Yeah.
Also true that then they made a few more plays than we did. They like again, we had it 3rd and 13 and they got a first down. Like there is no chance. 3rd and 13. They were 4 for 4 on the 4th down. Like that's why that's
crazy.
To me, those are 5 things right there. 3rd and 13, 4 for 4 on 4th down.
Yeah.
Yeah, my thing is if I definitely think a lot of those runs wouldn't have happened because right up the middle, Peyton Wilson would have been there every time. Like they would not have gotten past anybody. They wouldn't have gotten past Caden or Sean. It would have been Peyton Wilson was right there and he'd have hit him like a brick wall. So it's like thinking about that, it's like, dang, like you just put that one player in and I feel like the game would have been a complete 180 than it was.
Yeah. I mean, looking at the stats, they were pretty even. I mean, everything you look at, 22 first downs to 17. We did, both teams kind of struggled on 3rd down. Total yards was 399 to 435. They had the advantage. Passing was 178 to 164. And then rushing was 257 to 235. And time of possession was literally 12-second difference. So you look at it, it was the turnover and it was, they were only 4 of 14 on 3rd down, but I think it's when they got those 3rd downs was kind of the killer. It's just timing on some of these on some of these. And when we did our preview, Macon and I kind of said the unknown was Avery Johnson, and we just didn't have an answer for him. His legs beat us more than his arm did in that game. And it was frustrating at times when you had him backed up and he would just escape out of the backfield and get a positive play.
He's incredibly talented. There's no doubt that the height.
If they get him some receivers.
the hype is real on him for sure. He's going to be dangerous for sure next season and in the season after that too. But yeah, want to kind of touch on a couple of comments here. So first of all, when we had put out the grading, so Tracy said would have been 10 out of 10 if we hadn't lost. This was only my second bowl game, tons better than the Mayo Bowl. And I will say, Tracy, it took everything within me not to poke the bear when I saw all these amazing things from the Pop Tarts Bowl in terms of the experience, the mascot, the jubilee, the marketing. For every single one to be like, must be nice, at Mayo Bowl ? Like, I want to do that for every single one.
Greg's hotel tailgate was the best part of the Mayo Bowl.
That's true. That's true. Yeah.
So from just a couple of strange facts, up until the CFP games last night, it was the most viewed bowl game of the season with 4.37 million people watching the game.
Yeah.
So great marketing for State, getting some eyes and seeing what we were all about. And then I think just from a marketing standpoint, with putting the Pop Tarts brand name on that bowl, they made approximately $13 million. Good investment on their part. So it goes back to what I was saying earlier. If you're not going to be one of the big boy bowls, you need to be gimmicky, and I thought they did a very good job of being gimmicky to get eyes on their game. And I'm sure that probably doesn't even include the increase in sales. I mean, I've bought more Pop Tarts over the last few weeks than I have my whole life. Yeah, exactly. Jim St. Jean basically said the same thing. Definitely 10 out of 10. If we won, I'll go 8 out of 10. Yeah.
Agree with that.
And it was fun because where I was sitting, like there were so many people I knew right where we were sitting that was done unintentional. And it was like, okay, cool. So now we, have some other fans to cheer with. And it just makes the bowl experience that much, much better. Now, I think the one thing that downgrades the bowl game experience, and it's not even the bowl's fault, was just the nightmare traffic going down 95 on the day before. It was a show, and you can use whatever adjective in the front of that you want. It was some long driving for sure, but that was probably about the only negative about the experi's. It's a long trip.
You should ask my mom though. My mom had food poisoning right before the game, didn't get to go. She's just not having it. So her experience is probably like a 3 out of 10. But
it might be negative.
Right. She didn't leave the hotel room for like 48 hours.
Michael, I know you've been trying to get in. Do you have any comments, brother?
I just go back a couple plays that stood out to me. It was the 4th and 1 where he got stuffed. And then the missed field goal at the end. I mean, that was, you score a touchdown on that 4th and 1 and you make that field goal. That's a 10-point difference right there.
Mm-hmm. Well, get the touchdown where you drop it in the that one too. Yeah.
Well, and I want to talk about 2 plays specifically that have brought a lot of controversy. One that Michael mentioned, the 4th and 1. I said it on the live stream that honestly, that was the play that really had me scratching my head the most, being like again, to me, like in today's day and age where you have the tush push, like there was no pushing. Like it was literally just offensive line versus defensive line plus BA. But like put Delbert Mims behind and push him. Like push BA over. And again, I liked the fact that you had basically Delbert Mims on a swing to kind of basically get that side of the defense to blink for a second.
Mm-hmm.
But I think that he would have been much more valuable behind Brennan pushing him for a yard than doing that little fancy flare to kind of take the eyes off for a half second.
Or just give it to Delbert and let him bull rush, or bowling ball through the hole. I mean,
he did that a lot this season. So I mean, why stop him now?
Yeah.
Yeah, but that was kind of a common thread all year. Like I felt like when we needed a yard, we struggled in that aspect a lot this year, and I'm sure that's something that they're gonna definitely focus on and try to get better at. I just felt short yardage was a struggle at times this year.
Yeah. Now the other play Nicholas brings up is going for 2 when Trent Pennick scored the touchdown, and I want to say this very clearly: there is no way. There's no, I will bet my house if you did a poll of 100 high school / college football coaches, a majority of them would go for it. I would say 75% of them are going for 2. There is no way in what was it, the third quarter, you're down 19-21, then you don't go for 2. Like again, because if you kick the extra point, you're basically saying, well, I'm preparing in case Kansas State scores a touchdown. Which up until that point, Kansas State hadn't scored a single point. Like they didn't really even have any momentum. So I'm sitting here saying, you go for the tie. Yeah. And then now worst comes worse, you're going to overtime if they don't score again. That should be your mentality is, hey, worst comes worse, if we can't score another point, we're going to overtime because our defense is going to continue to shut this Kansas State team out. Like to me, that's just there's no chance you're going for an extra point when you're down 2. No chance.
Yeah. I don't think you're chasing too much right there. I think even if you don't get it, you're still within a field goal of taking the lead.
Exactly.
I don't think that's a lose-lose proposition. I could see it if you're multiple scores down and you're trying to chase points, but
correct. But with a chance to tie the game, no chance.
Yeah, I'm okay with that.
Offense only had 1 touchdown in the whole game before that, so points are hard to come by. So you gotta,
So what are you saying? Are you saying they should have kicked it? Are you saying they should have kicked it, Michael?
No. I'm saying you got when you have the opportunity to get 2, you got to get the 2 because the offense had only scored 1 touchdown up to that point. Our offense, NC State offense. So
and I feel like that'd be like you said, that'd be like the team being like, dang, Dave doesn't believe that we can stop them from getting this. Like,
or that we can go get 3 yards.
Exactly. Yeah. So I feel like that's automatically putting our coach doesn't believe in us, like in your mind a little bit. So
plus that's the big momentum play. There's a lot of emotion and energy going right there. You maybe try to ride that wave another play and get something out of it.
Yeah. Because I mean, Kansas State got the energy right out the gate when they scored that touchdown. I mean, it was like all the momentum went to their side that fast. So
we were chasing all night.
Yeah. And I think that Trent Pennick's touchdown definitely gave us back momentum for a little bit. And that was big for us.
Was the 2-point conversion on that where Brennan got rocked? That one?
Yeah.
Was that like we said, there was no replays in the stadium. Live, that looked like a clear targeting, but obviously never saw a replay. Was it?
Oh, I didn't think about it as targeting. No, I didn't even think about it as targeting. No. I honestly
just looked at it as he got dropped.
I don't know if we didn't account for something like. Excuse me. He never had a chance.
Or what?
It was a pressure, and I mean, we should have gotten a hand. We should have gotten a hand on it, but he's just got.
It reminded me of that Marshall play.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
Earlier in the season, he just got derailed.
Sometimes they just bring more than you have blockers, so the QB's got to get rid of it.
It was an all-out blitz.
Again, I'm saying this right now. Kicking the extra point is a 1,000,000% hindsight 2020 comment. That is exactly what that is. Hindsight 2020.
It's okay though.
Sure, it made perfect sense to click extra point, but again, there's no chance that you're saying, well, if Kansas State scores, then we need the point. Like there's no chance you can think.
Here's
like
the thing: the way if you want to play the hindsight, we would have needed a 2-point conversion at the end of the game to tie it. So either you got it then or you got it at the end of the game because the final was 28-19. You kick the extra point, it's 28-20. You get a touchdown, you're going to need a 2-point conversion. So again, I'm not super mad at that call, but I can see the logic there, but I don't think you're wrong either way.
Agreed. So and again, and I think we're all in agreement too that Peyton Wilson, if Peyton Wilson played, will be of one. Yes or no?
Yes, I think.
I mean, it's easy to say, but
it's easy to say, but
he is the best defensive player.
I mean,
because it was hairs. Like again,
right? Like I said, everything was pretty even.
It was a very even game.
You could tell how the defense just looked deflated without Peyton out there. Like Peyton is that leader, like we always talk about on the field. Yeah, he was on the sideline coaching him up, but it's way different to have a Peyton Wilson right there, like giving you where to go and all that kind of stuff. Like he was the playmaker all season. So
and the one thing I will go ahead and say to everybody who's talking about Tennessee next year, there is a night and day difference between preparing for a bowl game and preparing for the first game of a football season.
It's actually the second game.
Yeah, Western.
Oh, do we play Western first? Oh, okay. Yeah. Well, okay, even better. So then there's not that build up, and also you basically have a. I mean, I hate to call it a tune-up. Yeah, I hate to call any game a tune-up or a cupcake game these days, but let's be real. I mean, like you can figure some things out against West Virginia and get ready for Tennessee. So, and again, because with the bowl game, you have all the preparations of first of all, you just came off of a huge emotional win over UNC. You have all these players leaving. You have the transfer portal. Coaches focusing on that. You also have, your all the travel and all the hoorah and the events, things like that. A lot of distractions. During that time period, when we're going to be getting ready for Tennessee, you're locked into the next opponent. Yeah. Like that's all you care about is that and football and school. That's it.
Like and the 12 team playoff this year. Like I feel like that's going to put a lot more momentum in our team as well. It's like, hey, we're ranked after.
Go ahead. I'm sorry.
We're ranked after every year. So
yeah, but here's the funny thing about this: you literally could go 0-4 in your non-conference and still make the CFP.
Yeah.
So
with new rules,
yeah. So now you obviously you want to go out and win everything, but what I'm going with this is a loss to Tennessee is not going to kill your season. This year had we lost to Tennessee and been a one loss ACC winner, we wouldn't have got in.
Right.
So that's kind of where I wanted to go with that, and
100% agree.
Yeah. Which is crazy because now you're not putting as much of an emphasis on the regular season as you were, but
yep.
We'll take it. But you got to go out and win ball games, and we'll take this year as a building block. Take this loss as motivation in the off season to wanting to get better and work on the things that you need to work on. Real quick, we didn't really mention, but I'm sure everyone saw now. Delbert Mims is in the portal. And then we had a wide receiver. I guess, was he a scholarship guy or was he a walk-on?
I think so. I think he was a walk-on.
Yeah, I think he was a walk-on. Yeah. So, but yeah, we definitely mentioned, wish Delbert Mims all the best and where he ends up at.
Yeah. And also too, because I do want to talk about a couple other topics as well, but, also too, the elephant in the room with Mr. Noah Rogers, Ohio State wide receiver. Come home, my friend. Come home, my boy. Come on. Let's go. Bring it back.
I mean, State fans, like I put on Twitter, they're a bunch of FBI agents. The way that they found out that he was following our quarterback, following KC, they were going through his following list, and they're like, he's followed like 5 state players. And I'm like, yo, are we really doing this right now?
Yeah. Again, he's really close friends with the Thomas family. Like he's from Raleigh. His little header for his Twitter page is Raleigh,
and that's changed. That wasn't it.
Oh, really?
When he was at Ohio State, it wasn't it. So,
and again, he was a former. He played high school ball with Wesley Grimes, who's now transferring to NC State. Like. Yeah, just it's happening, people. It's not a matter of if, it's a matter of when. And I honestly think that the Savage Wolf things of donating 80 for 80, like basically we need a little bit more money to get to where we can match some of the other offers she's getting, and I think once we get to that point, then he's 100% locked in. I truly think that's probably the delay right now. It's because he's getting a lot of big offers.
Well, he's not in the big. From what? Go ahead, Michael.
Really?
Well, it's also still the dead period. So
that's true, Michael.
Great point. Until tomorrow. So
good point.
I feel like we'll definitely get it tomorrow or Friday, or by Friday. I think we'll get it.
Well, classes start Monday, right?
Yeah, next Monday.
So we have to.
Haven't moved it on Sunday.
We have to.
And by all accounts, he's really not into the whole me being the spotlight of this recruiting thing, and he just likes to kind of go about his business, and which I respect in today's age of these young people wanting all the attention, and but I just let the guy here's the one thing I'll say is I know we all want him to come, let him just let's relax and not kill him on social media.
I would love to see his DMs right now.
It's probably
I would not.
I would love to see it.
Yeah, and
hey, we'll support you whatever you do, but come to State. Come to Raleigh.
And the reason I wanted to bring this up was because of the whole Cam Ward Miami thing. It seemed like he was close to committing there, and then all these paper tigers were like, come here. And then he's like, y'all don't even show up to the stadium. Now, I know that's not the same for NC State, but let's let these guys, go through their process and make the decision that's best for them. And look, if once if and when he commits to NC State, sure, reach out to him. Yeah, great job. Thanks for choosing us. But just let these guys make the decision.
Don't annoy them away.
Yeah.
Don't annoy another team.
Yeah. I mean, that's a real thing.
So
yeah. And especially like I said, these dudes don't need 45-year-old dudes saying, "Come to State, man. Come on, man. You'll be the greatest."
Good point.
Yeah. That's not going to influence their decision.
Correct, and that's exactly what I was going to say. Like, is he really taking advice from me?
You see Greg the Leg in his mentions, you might be like, hell.
I don't know. Greg is pretty famous.
Right? No.
True. But again, so between him and then Smothers and the others, again, we got a lot of exciting things. We've already had a great off season, and I think 2024 is set up to be an amazing year. And again, we'll talk more about it, throughout these next few weeks, and also too as we go throughout the season as well.
We got spring ball starting in about 4 weeks.
Yep,
that's crazy.
A tiny break.
That's crazy, but. Anyway, though, so let's switch on over here. Talk a little bit of basketball, shall we? And again, I think we'll talk a little bit of women's first, since they played the most recently, and men didn't. So first of all, oh man, like I never thought
you get an N1. You get an.
I was gonna say
you get an N1.
I never thought I'd see the day. Like I literally just paused and took a breath, being like, I can't believe I'm actually about to talk on a podcast.
How do you even start that conversation?
We had 2 players get a technical for saying
it's
and
crazy.
one. Not at like I wasn't looking at the ref and saying it. I was really looking at the basket. Yeah. I was looking at the player. Like I was not looking at the referee. And I got called. Yeah, Colby, you're ejected. I want and ones in the chat. Everybody here with us right now. I want and ones in the chat. Let's blow it up. And ones. Technical.
Yes. Colby's issuing the technicals already.
Yes. But
they were back-to-back plays too.
Right. Well, and again, because it's honestly like comical, because like there's no doubt Mimi did that just out of spite, just to like
exactly.
Like,
well, the best one was in the second half when she was like, "Yeah,
yeah."
She was about ready to go.
Yeah,
bravo.
The entire game, like, what am I allowed to say?
The bench's reaction to that was hysterical. They're all just like losing their stuff when she did that.
I honestly think Westmore, all right. I would have not been surprised if Westmore lost his crap. But I also kind of like that he didn't lose it, because it was like, all right, that's such a joke that that's going to get addressed after the game, and that's not going to happen ever again.
Yeah.
In his whole coaching career, like that's not going to happen again.
I mean, all he could do was just laugh at it. He was like, "You got to be kidding me."
Yeah.
I mean.
Yeah.
Like I get going to a ref and like making it obvious that you're making a point to them.
Right. You're showing them up. Yeah.
Right. But looking in a crowd and saying it just like that's exciting. Literally every guy's game has that. Every game has that happen.
Well, I think the difference is you could hear it because it's a women's game. And so at a men's game, you can't really hear the N1. But
it's just frustrating.
Now, the one thing which I will say in terms of with Madison's is that, I mean, obviously she said it out of saying that it should have been an N1.
Yeah.
But I also kind of say, I mean, first of all, again, she wasn't looking at the referee. If she was looking at the referee and said it, that maybe would be one thing. But I also say as well that, I mean, in the old school days where you call your own fouls, like, I don't know. Like, to me, that
it's weak sauce.
First of all, I mean, the fact that Debbie Antonelli basically got off there and first thing that she did was make a big tweet saying, I have never been more disappointed in the fact that a player just got a technical for it saying and one.
I mean, she was going hard on air too at the refs, saying it was crazy.
Yeah. But either way, now that we've talked about that crap, let's talk about the good, which is, I mean, I think if I saw a stat today that we are the only team in the country that has 5 players averaging double-digit points a game, which is an awesome thing. I mean, because like, if you want your perfect team, I would say, like, let me ask you this: would you I think there could be a debate. At least for me, it's point blank. But maybe some of y'all in the chat would disagree with me. Would you rather have a team like Iowa, where you have an elite player like Caitlin Clark, who is like just lethal, like the greatest women's basketball player that we've seen in quite some time, in my opinion, Or would you rather have a team like ours where it's more of you have a lot of great players on it?
Definitely that.
I'm taking the latter because we held Caitlin to 47 and we beat him by double digits.
Yeah,
true. We held Caitlin to 47. Right? I see what you did there. I see what you did there. Yeah, that's true. It's a good point. Yeah.
I mean, you can have somebody shut down one player. I mean, all the time, so.
And Michelle brings a great point. If Clark gets hurt, then what? Yeah. Greg and I are both doing the same thing. If Clark gets hurt, then what? Well, and exactly like Sanaya Rivers, she had a back injury. She goes down. We still win
3 games.
Her. Yeah, Isaiah James goes on a little bit of a cold stretch, which she's on right now, and we're still winning. You know, like that's the beautiful thing is that you want with basketball, and that's why you want depth, because more than likely you're going to have 2 or 3 players at any given time that are playing a good game, and that's all you need in basketball to win. Just you need a couple players playing really, really well at the same time. Like that's why like in baseball, for example, in Kansas, I'm sorry, I'll let you bring it. Like that's why in baseball, managers don't want every player to be hot at the same time, because then more likely a lot of them are going to be cold at the same time. You want it to be like a wave. Go ahead, Ken.
So. And there's no way Clark doesn't have an off game all season. Right. So it's like once she has that off game, it might not be an off game like a lot of people think is an quote unquote off game.
She's going to score 20 points.
Yeah, but that's still a big deal. So the fact that our team did a complete 180 from last year, because I feel like last year it was that one player we were surrounding, and now that player is not there anymore. So it's like they all stepped up, and we're seeing just how much better this team is as a whole. So I think that it's definitely a benefit for us to have multiple players being able to score double digits than just one player being able to ball out.
True. I mean, Sanaya Rivers had 16 rebounds yesterday from a point guard position. Position.
That's crazy. Yeah.
And she was 2 assists away from a triple-double in her first game back from being gone for 3 games.
It's crazy. Yeah. Michael, thoughts?
I mean, not all, that's what's already been said. I mean, it's just when you can just pick up where somebody else leaves off, it's really an important thing to have.
Yeah. Like and again, Colby says it. Collins is a beast. Mimi Collins is a beast. But also too the fact that River Baldwin is also playing really well. So like it honestly blows my mind really, the fact that like again 2 or 3 months ago, like when we were talking previewing the women's basketball season, we were like, all right, hopefully we'll be competing towards top, but more likely going to be in the middle of the pack. And now, I mean,
into that, he said that.
Are we like, in my opinion, we're the clear favorites right now to win the ACC. I mean,
if not, it's Virginia Tech. I mean, it's between us and Virginia Tech, and we're gonna get a feel for that this weekend.
Well, and exactly. But the thing which I would say about Virginia Tech is, once again, we have 2 players down low that to deal with their one player, which I know, again, their one player they have down low is AC Player of the Year.
Mm-hmm.
She's very, a really, really good player. But I also am saying that you're relying on her, while again, between River and Mimi, we just need one of them to figure it out, So,
speaking of River Baldwin, I mean, she's doubled her offensive output for points per game from like 5.7 to like 10.5.
Most improved player of the year.
Oh, there's I think in the ACC as a whole. Not even on state.
Yeah.
I think you have another potential to get another 6th Person of the Year award with Zoe Brooks. And here's another thing, River Baldwin, she's your big, and she only like averages less than 2 fouls a game. So she plays great defense without fouling, and that's huge. Yeah, and that's going to be put to the test, obviously, going against Keatley on Sunday. This is a big week for state basketball. We're really going to see what this team is going to look like for the long haul. We got Florida State, which is, I think, number 22 in the country, coming to Reynolds on Thursday, and then we go out to Tech on Sunday. I think Tech is like 12.
Okay. 11 or 13, depending on where you
somewhere around there. So some really big games coming up this week for state. And I'm excited. This will tell us a lot about what we're going to look for the rest of the season.
Yeah, no. Elizabeth Kidley is elite. There's no doubt about it. She's an amazing player for sure. I'm just saying that I'm going to lean towards a team where I'm looking at 2 players to figure it out rather than just one player who has to figure it all by herself. And also too, because of the fact that whenever Kidley comes out, Mimi or River is going to be in. So that's going to be a mismatch automatically.
Yeah.
So, but and the same thing with men too. Men play tomorrow against Notre Dame in South Bend. So we're going to learn a lot about men tomorrow too.
Yeah, a Notre Dame team that just beat UVA, right?
Crushed them.
Crushed them 24 or something.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. No, I know. I know.
Back to the stress.
I mean, here's my thing. It's just.
Oh, I'm sorry.
Well, no. The only thing I'll kind of hand to you, but like, with men, it's just like, first of all, and I think I after you, Greg, I want to kind of hear Michael's thoughts, because Michael, I know you kind of talked about on Twitter page, maybe in Discord as well, about how all of a sudden our 3 losses so far are pretty daggone good losses, which is, we weren't thinking of them as being really great loss of time, but now, I mean, Tennessee's number 5 in the country. Right. But I also, I mean, again, at the end of the day, we got to figure out this rotation. We got to figure out who we are. When we talk about NC State, we got to figure out who we are. Are we, because like last year we were a team that relied a lot on the talent of Jarkel Joyner and Terquavian Smith, which guys a lot of wins, but it also led to a couple losses, aka against Clemson. Most of the time, all 3 times.
All 3 times.
Most of the time.
But we got to figure out who we are. And
we were 0-3 against them.
So, Greg, do you have any kind of insight right now in terms of who we are, or do you kind of agree with me that we got to figure that out?
Yeah, I mean, now that you've gotten Cam Woods into the rotation, and then you've got MJ Rice now part of the rotation. It's just now trying to figure out roles, figure out combos, figure out who complements who. And it stinks that you're having to do this middle of the season. Obviously, you would have liked to have figured that out earlier in the non-conference schedule, but it is what it is. There's talent. I don't know. It just goes back to, system or lack thereof.
Kind of seems like.
Well, for me, it's just what are we running? Like, what is our identity? What is our system? Mm-hmm. What are we trying to be? Are we trying to be a team that's going to run you, who's going to play really good defense? Because if we're not making shots, it adversely affects our defense, because we can't set up the press and run and create havoc like we like to do. So, and we're not a good 3-point shooting team. So that's the thing. So are we an inside team? Are we, a fast break team?
No clue.
I just don't know. That's the frustrating part.
Yeah.
I mean, DJ Horn has been really good the last 3 or 4 games.
Phenomenal.
He's been shooting lights out. So, he's got to continue that, and you really need somebody else to kind of elevate to that level as well, who can be a go-to scorer. I don't think we have that either, really. Right. I mean, you got Burns, who's pretty automatic from the post, but he can only play so many minutes, and you need guards in the game, in today's game. Yeah. And DJ Horn is looking, like I said, last 3 or 4 games have looked very promising. But
who's going to be that second guy, right?
Right.
Who's going to be that second guy? Which, I mean, again, we have so many guys.
Right? It could be Jaden Taylor, could be Cam Woods.
For the amount of depth that we have on the team.
Yeah.
Casey.
Well, I think I think this is what Seth's point. I think it goes to kind of the point we're trying to make is you had 2 guys last year, right, that would feed off of each other.
Yeah.
And so we haven't really established that second person with Horn. Is it Rice? Is it Taylor? Is it Woods? Is it Morcell? Like, when are we going to see the real Morcell show back up? By the way, shout out, happy birthday, Casey Morcell.
This is kind of like last year too. Like, Casey didn't get going until after a few ACC games went through. Like, this is kind of like a comparison of last year's team. Like, they started off slow, and then you saw what they did in the ACC. Yeah. So I think they just, like Greg said, they just have to find their identity. And
so knowing, I mean, obviously we're 1-0 in the conference with getting a probably what is right now a quad 1, which no one would have ever thought that was a quad 1 victory up at Boston College.
Absolutely.
How many wins do we think it's going to take to impress the committee to get in? I'm thinking 12 to 13 good wins, with none of those being bad losses. Like, what's that? What do we think that magic number looks like?
I think at least 12.
Michael, I hand over to you, good sir.
It depends on the quality of the wins versus losses. If we go, I mean, we could go 13-7 in the ACC, but your 7 losses are all of your Q1
Notre
games.
Dame and Louisville, or
yeah. Oh, I was going the other way.
Oh yeah, you're going the other way. I see what you did.
Having no good wins at all, like just losing twice to UNC, losing to Duke, losing to Clemson, losing twice to Virginia, and not having any good wins at all. Or you can go 12-8. Yeah, you may drop one to Notre Dame or Wake Forest. Well, Wake's probably going to be decent, but
FSU.
You may drop 1 or 2. Yeah, FSU.
Yeah, the nice thing
is,
if
you knock off UNC once, you knock off Virginia once, you get Clemson maybe, then you've got a quality wins, and you could make the tournament at 11-9.
Yeah, the nice thing is our quote unquote bottom feeders of the ACC are all road games, so that helps. Where there will be a quad 3 loss, not a quad 4 loss,
and they're not as bad as last year. I think last year we had 3 teams that were like 250 plus, which there's I think only Louisville is.
I think there's Louisville.
Year.
That's a good point. It's a good point. So. Yeah, for me, it's kind of crazy to say, but I got to remind everybody about this, that literally in 8 days, we're facing UNC at home. Like, it's coming up quick. So, I mean,
it's usually later in the season.
Right. And
we usually play at UNC first, and then they
usually play at UNC, and then we usually play UNC at home, like one of the last few AC games of the season. But
middle in February.
Kind of put up or shut up, and I mean, I do agree with Hunter's thoughts of I think we really need to see what we got in MJ Rice. In my opinion, I mean, this kid's a talent. Yeah. He was a highly recruited high school recruit for a reason. He went to Kansas for a reason. Like, I still don't think we've seen what we got in MJ Rice. I still think we've just kind of scratched the surface on what we have with him.
And I think he's played enough now to where you can start giving him more minutes. Like, I think he's already played 3 or 4 games, I think now.
Yeah, he should be in shape by now. Yeah, like he should be in shape. And if he's not in shape, then that's
run
a
him
question.
Into shape.
Then that's a question to the coaching. He should be in shape by now. So,
here's the one thing that we haven't talked about is Diarra. Like, what are we going to get from him? Because he showed a lot of promise earlier in the season, and I know he's kind of had the foot/ankle injury. He's a guy that. Like, he can give you minutes, rebounds. Last I checked, he was leading the team in rebounds. I don't know if that's still the case, but I don't know. It's frustrating. And then someone said, expected to see Ernest Ross step up this year, and he hasn't even. He's buried.
You're not seeing him.
Yeah.
You're not seeing them unless you really need it. But again, as you can see from all of us shaking our heads left to right here, like not up and down, left to right, shaking our heads, like it's not frustration of like, man, we stink, or man, like this is gonna be bad. It's more like, I don't know, but there's nothing I can really sit here and say like, well, but I feel because of this. It's like honestly, like if you ask me, well, what makes you feel confident? I would say we have a lot of options. Like, that's about all I got. I mean,
the most frustrating part is like the amount of talent we have and not knowing how to use it.
So So this is the interesting. I just pulled up to see who was the rebounds, and it is Diarra still. But you have a different leader at points, rebounds, assists, steals, and blocks. It's someone totally different for each of those categories. So I think that almost tells you everything you need to know is you don't have a quote unquote stud, right? You don't have that guy that you can put the game on his back and he'll get you through the game. And I think that's the most frustrating part about this whole thing.
Yeah.
Well, especially because again, I truly do think I most of my time, I mean, growing up, I played hockey and football. So, wasn't really a basketball guy. I was a guy that when I talk aggressive, I mean, I'm putting you on your butt. And obviously basketball, that's not the kind of aggressiveness you need. But I'm also sitting there saying, like, I feel like in basketball, you got to ride the waves, and the waves usually go by a guy that's hot. Like a guy is feeling it that day. Like DJ Burns at Wake Forest, he was feeling that day. Yeah. And we rode that wave to a win. And I feel like that, like you can't have a team that's hot. You got to find a player that's hot that day, and you got to ride it for as long as that wave can be ridden. And unfortunately, like as of recently, it's been DJ Horn, but it's not been because that we've gone to DJ Horn. It just happened to be that DJ Horn that day was hot. But then it's not like that. Once we saw he was hot, we went to him the rest of the time. It was just that he just basically just took it in his own hands and just went with it. So my 2 cents there. Yeah. But anyway, though, so men's basketball, buckle your seatbelt. Let's see what happens tomorrow against Notre Dame. Game is at 9 p.m.
9
p.m.
Late one.
Yeah, late one.
We love those Wednesday night 9 o'clockers.
Yeah,
said nobody.
And maybe we should do a watch party for that. Maybe potentially. So let us know in the chat if you guys would tune in for a watch party. I think it works out perfectly. It's a road game.
Plus, don't we have a recording tomorrow night anyway? So we already have all of our stuff out.
That's true. Yeah, we have a special recording, which make sure to stay tuned for that. Again, and then for women's basketball, great things ahead. We look phenomenal. Love it. Can't wait to see what happens when we face number 22 Florida State on Thursday. But I do want to kind of touch on a couple other teams here. So first of all, wrestling starts off their home duels this Friday versus Oklahoma State, which again, if you don't know, or just a reminder, Oklahoma State is one, if not the
blue blood,
top 3 biggest wrestling programs in the history of college wrestling. I would argue probably Penn State's probably number 1, but Oklahoma State in terms of, I mean, like if you look at any head coach in college wrestling, more than likely they wrestled at Oklahoma State, more than likely. And I mean, again, literally the UNC wrestling head coach left to go be basically the presumptive guy to take over as the head coach. So literally a coach left UNC wrestling to go be an assistant or associate head coach at Oklahoma State to be the presumptive guy. Like that's how big that job is. That's how big that program is. And so you're going to have that program coming to Reynolds Coliseum Friday night, 7 p.m. Again, tickets are like $10 to $20, so very, very cheap. Make sure to come and let's pack out Reynolds Coliseum and get this huge dual win to start off the home dual year. But then the last thing, which I'll say to as well, for a lot of people that saw us lose to Ohio State in wrestling duels, and this is kind of thing I think that I like, and it's kind of a little bit of a adjustment from how you look at other sports, is that really duels, in terms of us winning or losing duels, mean absolutely nothing if they're non-conference. If they're non-conference, winning or losing a duel means absolutely nothing. Like, because there is no team dual national championship. Like team national championship at the end of the year is decided about how each individual wrestler does compared to their other wrestlers in their weight class. It doesn't matter, really what the team actually does. So, like, honestly, as long like we could lose every single non-conference duel, but if we win every single in-conference duel, and if we go and have 2 individual national champions and finish top 3, I mean that's really the most important thing. Which is, again, it's kind of a crazy thing to think about. I mean, because in basketball you put so much focus on non-conference, and football you want a better non-conference schedule, but really in wrestling, non-conference doesn't matter.
Yeah, basically, just to kind of sum that up, wrestling is the sum of all parts, and so it's how the individual in each weight class does for cumulative team points. So you wrestle as an individual in order to secure team points, but you're not wrestling quote unquote as a team.
Yeah.
Correct. Agreed.
Yeah.
So so again, Friday night, Oklahoma State, come and see your top 3 ranked NC State wrestling team. And again, it should be an exciting matchup for sure. I personally will not be there, as I will actually be at the next sport, which we're going to be talking about, which is gymnastics. Gymnastics starts off their season actually at Georgia this weekend, and my wife and I will be making the drive down to go and check them out. Excited to go see it again. I mean, SEC wrestling is huge, and my wife's a huge I'm sorry. Did I say wrestling?
You did say wrestling.
I know.
Wrestling.
Hey, that's a great combo. I would love to see a wrestling gymnastics like.
I do.
Sport.
I would totally see it. I would.
Don't know me.
Yeah. No.
Come off like the balance beam.
I mean, technically, what the wrestlers wear is. I mean, could that be considered a leotard? I don't know.
It's pretty close.
Just throw some sparkles on it, and I mean that's pretty much it, right?
I would love to see NC State wrestling.
Oh, they're not gonna like
bedazzled.
Yeah,
bedazzled. That would be so cute.
Yeah, I love it. Anyway, SEC gymnastics is huge, and my wife is a big college gymnastics fan, and so we wanted to go make the trip down and go check it out, and but also too because I'm telling you all this right now, and I've said it, I have sung the praises as much as I can without making it seem borderline weird, which is that I'm telling you this NC State gymnastics team is the most talented team in the history of NC State gymnastics. I've not been around long enough to see every single team, but I saw what they accomplished last year. I see what they were turning in last year. Just as a reminder, everybody, they posted the second highest team score in program history. They also ranked top 25 pretty much the entire season. We also, again, we have a multi-time conference gymnast of the year. You're also returning basically 3-star gymnasts this year. And I mean, I just can't say enough. And also to keep in mind as well, this is also going to be the first year that we also will have ACC gymnastics. Just a reminder, everybody, that before this year,
entirely true.
Well, yeah, okay. Well, it basically got rebirth. That's right. Yeah, it got rebirth. Yeah. But just remind everybody that basically we're
defending ACC champions.
That's true. We are defending.
From how long ago?
1984.
1984. Let's go.
Look at that 30-year dynasty.
30-year
dynasty. 40-year dynasty.
40 years, yeah.
Yeah. No, again, we're closer to 2040 than we are 2010? Or what was the stat? We're closer anyway.
Like that.
But it's crazy how far we are. But anyway, but
I'm good at math on this.
Anyway, I'm old. I was born in 1994.
I expect a big crowd too for Georgia gymnastics since they won't be playing in the national championship football game.
Ooh. Wow. All right. Yeah. No. But yeah. So again, y'all just. It's not a home meet this time, but next weekend they're going to Carmichael to face UNC. So make sure to go ahead and make plans for that next Friday night at Carmichael as they take on UNC. Be a huge meet for sure, and we'll definitely be covering that. And women's tennis also gets started here this week as well, which again coming off of the greatest team and the greatest season in the history of the women's tennis program. Being a loss in the national championship match versus UNC, but also the first ever ACC title for the women's tennis program, which is awesome. And Coach
Earnshaw.
Thank you, Coach Earnshaw. Simon Earnshaw did an amazing job in the offseason with recruiting, and I think this team is 100% not rebuilding but reloading. So. Any quick thoughts here, Greg or Michael Kens, about tennis, man? Any other sports that we need to talk about right now, starting up or going on right now?
Just a big week in NC State sports. I mean, lots we just went through it. Lots of big matchups, big games, and all the sports. So if you're a fan of NC State, you got a lot to be proud of this week because I'll be in Raleigh. I'll be there for women's basketball Thursday, wrestling Friday, and men's basketball on Saturday. So
let's go.
No rest for the Riri after 8,000 miles of traveling.
Right.
Wow.
Greg said, I know when Greg put on Twitter, it's the great ending. I was like, Greg, it's not ending.
I know.
No.
Like, stop.
Yeah.
I just saw a dude.
Beginning.
I just saw a dude like in like an Instagram video or reel that this dude hasn't missed a UT Texas football game in 47 years, home or away. I was like, yeah, I'm not catching that guy.
No. And then that's a lot of eye gouging right there. That's a lot of eye gouging. If you're
I don't think my heart could take 47 years of football.
Well, specifically Texas, though, man. I mean, dude.
Yeah, I mean, they have reached the promised land a couple of times, but yeah, that's a it's the biggest money college football program in the country. Real quick, let's take a minute. Did the committee get it right?
Oh, Greg.
Real quick.
Depends on what you consider what right is.
Again, All right, here's the one thing
they gave us the most entertaining playoffs last night.
My thing is that the case though? The regular season doesn't matter. If you're just going to pick the 4 teams that look the best, why even have your regular season?
It's good. I mean, but here's the one thing I'll say. Here's the one thing I'll say about that game. All right, honestly,
which
that
one? Which one? There was 2.
Sorry, Florida State and Georgia. Florida State and Georgia. I want to talk about this game real quick.
Oh,
okay.
All right. So honestly, that game to me spoke more, in my opinion, about Mike Norvell than really anything else in terms of whether how bad they should have been in or shouldn't have been in. I'm sitting here more saying you had over 3 weeks to prepare, and you couldn't. Again,
they had 30 dudes not.
You shouldn't have lost by 60 points, Greg. There's no.
They literally had one defensive starter play in that game. One defensive starter.
Again, but if they truly were a college football playoff team, you couldn't have guys to be competitive, man. Like again, Georgia also was missing guys as well.
Florida State did not want to be there. Bottom line, they were defeated.
Well, it was a bad look. I mean, again, losing by 60 points, it's a bad look. No matter how
but I don't think they
lose.
I think they lose that game. I think they lose to Georgia, but I don't think they lose by 60 if they have their full complement of starters minus Jordan Travis.
No,
but again, this is also a team
that was a really good defense.
But I'm just saying, Greg, the last time that we talked about this team, Mike Norvell is raising hell that this team should have been in the college football playoffs. And then they answer by getting smacked by their mama by 60 points.
I get it. But I was talking about, did the committee get it right for the CFP?
Yes, they got it right. So
that's all I wanted. Yeah. How was that so hard?
That's all I wanted.
Because that's boring.
Yes, they got it right.
Yeah, no, I agreed, Michael. That is boring.
Yes, no. Yeah. I mean, again, watching both those games,
entertaining.
Got it right. The only thing which I will say is I do feel for Michael Penix. I think
he got robbed of the Heisman.
He played a hell of a game, man. He played a hell of a game. That's all I'm going to say.
They won.
Yeah.
Now about the Heisman.
He played. I'm saying he played a hell of a game.
Like, why are you so bad for him?
Why do you feel bad for him? He's playing for a national championship.
Now again, I mean, Jaden Taylor is ridiculous. I mean, that dude ran for over 1,500 yards. He threw for probably what?
Jaden Daniels.
Jaden
Taylor plays basketball for State.
Oh, okay. Thank you.
Too many Jadens.
All right. I was actually even thinking of Devin Daniels as well. I'm like,
basketball is fully on the mind now.
I know, right?
Yeah.
But anyway,
no,
crazy stuff.
You're right, though. I think it's that West Coast bias that people don't get to watch half their games because they start at 10 o'clock at night.
Yeah.
So exactly. Look at Tracy's comment. I can't even comprehend how mad I would be if I drove 10 hours on I-95 and we lost by 60. I'm swinging on somebody, whether it be Dave or somebody, one of our players.
Yeah,
it's ridiculous.
Yeah. I'm probably road raging on some poor grandma in the left lane on 95.
Somebody is getting punched.
Yeah.
All right, it's time to wrap this thing up.
That's right. And
we're swinging at Granny's now. It's time to close the show.
Man, and you got
why'd you pin that comment? I don't even know who that is.
I was gonna say you got Bray saying Kins, but I don't know who that is either. But anyway, but Layton is a closet Georgia fan.
See my life.
Furthest thing from it. But I'm more of a let's chill on Mike Norvell guy. Like that's me. But anyway,
I get your point, but that's not even the same team. I mean, not even close.
He's got DJ U coming.
GJ Uyunglele. Oh man, game changer, man.
We're screwing that name up. We actually don't have to play him next year.
I know. I abandoned it right there. I said DJ
U. Yep. Alrighty, Wolfpack Nation. Thank you so much for tuning in. We hope y'all enjoyed this show. Thank you all for all the comments, all the questions, concerns. We appreciate it. It was awesome. And so make sure, again, as we just put 2 ends together, we'll be doing a watch party for tomorrow night's game versus Notre Dame, 9 p.m. So make sure to tune in about 8:45 as we'll be going live for that. And then again, if you haven't already, again, make sure to do that. Do us a big favor. Hit that free subscribe button, hit that notification bell so you're notified whenever we release any new NC State content. And also, as well, if you enjoy this conversation, do us a big favor, hit that like button. And if you listen to this on Spotify, Apple Podcasts, wherever that may be, do us a big favor as well and leave a 5-star review. Really appreciate that. And then make sure you give us a follow, Tuffy Talk Now, on Twitter, Instagram, and TikTok, y'all. We appreciate y'all. We'll see y'all soon. Let's have a big week and Happy New Year and go Pack, y'all.